Hi everyone, I'm MacG1991 and this is my guide to the AMX 50B in World of Tanks. The AMX 50B is not an easy tank to play, as it requires the experience and presence of mind to know where to be and when to be there. This guide is my attempt to help out with that, so that you can fully utilize and enjoy your very own 50B. The AMX 50B's strengths include its massive burst damage, which will frighten most enemy tanks and keep them from charging at you. Its mobility, which allows it to gain a more advantageous position while it reloads, and its high penetration gun, which will enable it to utilize its burst damage by being able to reliably penetrate the enemy tanks. Its weaknesses include the armor, which will almost always be penetrated by any enemy tank you encounter, the lengthy clip reload that enemy tanks can exploit to damage you while you can't retaliate, and the large, very big, and very popular target that it presents to the enemy team. Since the 50B is less of a heavy tank and more of a support tank, you really need to utilize those first 30 seconds before the match starts to assess the situation and figure out what your plan of attack will be. You'll want to look out for enemy artillery by seeing how much artillery the enemy team has and what those artillery pieces are capable of. You'll also want to look out for enemy tanks that have high damage guns. Things like the tier 10 tank destroyers or the E100 with its big 15cm gun can really ruin your day in the 50B if you end up running yourself into them unaware. Now what we're dealing with here is the map Prokhorovka, and the enemy team has brought 2 artillery pieces along with a big E100 that we need to be watching out for. Also, for the purposes of this guide, I'll be showcasing 2 different maps, Prokhorovka and Erlenberg, which have very different amounts of cover. Prokhorovka is a map with minimal amounts of cover for a tank as large and vulnerable as the 50B, while Erlenberg has a substantial amount of cover that the 50B can use to great effect. Your options on Prokhorovka essentially are limited to try for the hill in the east and hope you remain undetected, to go down the 1-2 line forest in the west and hope you remain undetected, or to head to the houses in the east for cover, which I think is the best choice of 3. It can be riskier, but when played right, it is much more rewarding. Now I'm going to do my best during this replay to stay alive while also doing my best to dish out massive amounts of damage. One thing that you'll want to take note of is the fact that I do have 6th sense, so if I do get spotted, the light bulb will pop and I'll be made aware of that. So far I just took my first shot and have not been spotted yet. I believe I make it to 7 shots and about 2500 damage before I do get spotted in this match, which is a good skill to have in the AMX 50B. And as you can see, we just took out our first enemy tank, the M103. I unloaded my full clip on him, which on the AMX 50B is about 1600 damage, while still remaining undetected. And another important thing is to remain in cover while you're reloading your clip. If you've got an autoloader and you're reloading your clip, you better be behind cover. There's no point to be taking damage if you can't dish it back. And the AMX 50B has great mobility, so I'm utilizing that to reposition, get in a better position so that I can engage the enemy tanks. The enemy artillery, which we do need to be watching out for, is to the west of us, so I'm getting cover behind buildings by having buildings on my west side to keep me safe from the arty. And here I am about to unload my 2nd clip on this enemy E50. And I just got off 3 shots before I was detected, which puts me at 7 shots before I was detected by the enemy team. I only missed 1 of those, so I did about 2400 damage before being spotted by the enemy team. And now I see an enemy IS-4. Enemy IS-4, they have massive frontal armor. I don't want to risk bouncing. I want to take that guy out, so I switched to gold ammo. One of the nicer things about the AMX 50B is that it has a very large ammo capacity, I believe 56 rounds. So I usually bring 44 standard shells and 12 gold shells. 12 to 16 gold shells would be the ideal for a pub match. You want to be able to have shells that can penetrate the fronts of IS-4s, MICE, Jagdpanzer 100s, T110 E4s. You need to have your gold shells for that, because you don't want to risk bouncing 3 out of 4 shells in your clip. Of course, with gold rounds on the AMX 50B, they do take the full clip reload time, so you do need to know about 30 seconds beforehand if you're going to need them. So you need to be having that awareness if you're going to be switching over to them during the match. And so now I don't need gold rounds anymore, so I switched back to standard and I took out a T71. They do have an IS-8 left in the northeast on that island, but he's in a position I don't want to attack. Not with my 50B. Maybe if I had a tank with frontal armor, I would go after him, but instead I'll reload and go help my team in the southwest. Obviously we're using this AMX's mobility and its reload to reposition to help out our team and get back into position by the time we're reloaded. And as you can see, I get beautiful shots on the IS-4's rear, and that's one of the benefits of the AMX 50B's mobility. At this point, the game is pretty much wrapped up. The IS-8 on the enemy team is essentially combat ineffective. There's nothing he can do there from that position. We can just ignore him and win the match. But somebody on our team decided to go after him and kill him anyway. So they just have 2 tanks left and 2 artillery pieces, so now it's safe for me to just go out full potato and just charge the enemy team. I do get a small little sliver of a shot on the IS-7, but unfortunately it bounces, and my gun gets damaged right after. So now it's just a matter of reloading and then sweeping up the rest of the enemy team. So, in summary, at the end of the day, you really need to maximize your AMX 50B's mobility. It's probably the most important part of driving the AMX 50B, is knowing where to be and when to be there. The other things, penetration, getting to cover, reloading appropriately, those are all branches off the AMX mobility tree. That really, mobility is the key to successfully running the AMX 50B. And as this match closes, I saved my last shot. I had the kill shot, but I wanted my platoon mate to get it so that we could have got brothers in arms, but he doesn't make it in time, so instead we are off to Erlenberg. Now what we have some nasty stuff on the enemy team now for Erlenberg. Erlenberg, like I said earlier, is a nice map for the 50B. It's got lots of cover that the 50B can use and relocate to while it's reloading. But since they have such nasty tank destroyers on their team, E100s, T110s, T95s, I don't want to be going anywhere near them right now. So I'm gonna chill at the house on the hill right here and get my snipe shots in as much as possible until there's some thinning of the enemy herd that I can exploit. Another reason I chose to stay a bit back this time was because of the enemy artillery and their big boomsticks. I didn't want to be spotted early and get two-shot by the enemy artillery, so I'm going to try and snipe this match. And here's my first target, this enemy T-30. I love him. He's a slow tank, so I can shoot and be fairly safe, fairly sure that I'll hit him. I blind fire because I'm pretty sure he's not going to be moving. It didn't look like he was caring very much that he was getting hit earlier. So once he gets relit, we'll see that he did get damaged on that last blind fire, and I did hit him down to 53%. Of course, he's also going to let me kill him with my second clip if he stays around there, and we can get another light. I saw on the minimap that the T-30 was lit again, so thank you minimap. I do track him and take him out with my second clip. So that's one tank down, 2 clips shot out. I still have not been detected yet. All I see are T95s and T110E4s, so I'm going to switch to gold, and hopefully those shells will penetrate. Normally, if they had less threatening tanks, I would be repositioning somewhere closer to the fight, but since they're in those nasty boomsticks, I really want to just try and snipe and do as much damage as I can sniping. So I unload this gold clip onto the T95. Of course he's tracked, so I blind fired 2 shots to where he was. He's not that fast either, so we get him down to single-digit %. And I'm not going to be reloaded in time to shoot that T110, so I think I need to return my focus to the north, which I have not helped out yet. And while the Jagdpanzer sets himself in my sights, I unload my gold shells. I get 2 bounces even with the gold, so ouch. But right now I'm pretty much stuck where I am. I don't want to be going across any of the open fields. Well, there's so many enemy tanks still alive, and they're set up in defensive positions. So I'm just going to wait to take out this Jagdpanzer E100 and enemy IS-7, and then assess the situation once they're both down, once the north is clear. And of course I only have 1 gold shell left, so I need to save it because I can't go back to it once I'm down to 1. If I only have 1 gold shell remaining and then I try to reclip my gold, it will take a full clip reload, so it'll act as if I have 4 shells in there, even though I only have 1. It will take the length of 4 shells to reload. Took out the enemy Pershing. So they only have 3 tanks remaining, 2 artillery pieces, so it looks safe for me to move. So I'm going to reload and get moving, and once I'm reloaded I should be in the fight, or close to it. Of course there's an enemy Tiger 2 watching the middle, so I'm going to go take him out with my clip. He's not going to spot me until I'm relatively close. I'm going to do my best to make sure that I take him out and penetrate with every single shot. So I'm not going to... I have 1 shot to waste, but aside from that I need to penetrate and hit with all my other shots. Of course I did my best to check the math to make sure that I could clip him with 3 or 4 shots, and I can take him out here with 3 shots. I slowed down to stop to shoot because I didn't want server lag to make me miss, so I made sure to wait for the best shot I possibly could, especially since he decided to not try to shoot me. He was very nice to me, not trying to shoot me back at all. And I've finished my clip reload. There's a small little SU-100 here that wants a piece of me, and he's going to get it. So I take him out with 2 shots, and then I have an enemy U-100 and artillery that I need to be aware of. So I clip to take on that enemy U-100, and while I'm clipping I reload, and as I'm reloading and repositioning I do my best to make sure that the E-100 will not spot me until I'm already at his side, setting his engine deck on fire. This match I ended up doing about 7,500 damage and taking none in return. So as you can see, the AMX mobility and repositioning is amazing and can do wonderful things. So there we go. I get spotted, I track him, I get shots into his engine deck trying to set him on fire. On the 3rd shot I do, and I take him out and get the kill. The German tanks, the U-100s, Tiger 2s, Lows, they all love to catch on fire, and as a 50B you can really exploit that by shooting them in the engine, and one of your shots is bound to catch them on fire. So that's it for my AMX 50B guide in World of Tanks. So thank you for watching. I hope to make many more new and improved tank guides to World of Tanks, so watch out for those, and thank you for watching.